I hope to own an Optimus robot one day, and one of the things that I would like for the robot to be able to do is cook my food. And so this morning, I hooked up a rig so that it could watch me prepare breakfast, so that it would know how I like breakfast. So we can use this as training data, hopefully, for the Optimus robot. And I gotta say, breakfast turned out primo this morning, absolutely primo. So this is a good one, check it out. Good morning, Optimus. Today we're going to fix a standard breakfast. So we're going to come into the kitchen, and I've already put the water on for coffee. We'll discuss coffee in a later video. Here's how I preheat the skillet. So first of all, I get the swine press and I peel it away. Sometimes I have to hold down the paper because it sticks to the paper because of the grease. And put the swine press right in the center of the skillet. And then I turn the front right eye on just past halfway to get it warmed up. To the left, the 2 circles means that the full eye is on. The single circle, if you turn it to the right, means just the smaller eye in the middle is on. But we want to use the full power of this range, so we're going to use both circles. The graphic here indicates, which eye we're using. So we're using the bottom right eye. That's my favorite eye. You may have a different favorite eye once you get in here, but that's the one that I like to use. So we're just going to let that warm up. And while we're letting that warm up, we're going to prepare some other things. So we're going to be having some sausage and bacon. You see we got the fridge fully stocked with some good healthy food. This morning, let's do some raspberries and blackberries. So I've got them here. There's raspberries, there's blackberries. Let's get those out. We're going to give those a little rinse. Let's go ahead and get the bacon out that we're going to use, which is under these eggs. I like to leave the eggs in the fridge until right before I use them, because I've just found that they seem to crack better cold. So we'll use the rest of this bacon, and I've got some sausage. We've got 2 different things of sausage here. We'll use one of these. And we're not going to use all of this, but we will be using some of that. We can also go ahead and set the table. So right now this is just breakfast for 1. So we'll go up here to the dishes, and I have just cups sitting up here because I don't really have anywhere else for them, so we might have to rearrange this once you get here. But I lift this up and get a clean plate from under it. There you go. These are Franciscan Starburst dishes. They are vintage, they are antique, and they're expensive to replace, so we do want to be careful with them. I have another pattern that is very similar, and this is called Salem North Star, and they are also vintage and antique, but not quite as expensive. Cutlery is right here in the drawer beside the fridge, and I have several different styles, as you see, that I've just sort of picked up over the years. My favorite ones, though, are this Oneida teardrop shape, and I wish I could find more of them somewhere. Maybe you can help me with that one day. So we'll get 1 of each. And then for napkins, I just use a paper towel. And so just fold that like a napkin there. It doesn't have to be perfect. And fork on the left, knife on the right with the blade up under the plate there, and then the spoon outside of that. Okay, we can hear that our water is ready for coffee. So I'm going to turn the eye off there and go ahead and open that. I use this to open it because it flings boiling water back on me. So I'll do that just to catch the water. And I have not ground my coffee yet, so I'm going to do that real quick. And I've already got some in the hopper. This thing is broken, and I have to put just a little bit of weight on top of it, or else it'll cut off early. So let me see if I can get that. There we go. That should be about 24 seconds. I timed it one time. So we'll get the coffee out. I've got the coffee pitcher here ready that I cleaned and prepared last night. I do that to kind of knock all of the grounds loose. And then when you're pouring it, this little notch, sometimes it'll jump out through there, so I like to use this as just sort of like a little guard and just slowly pour in there so it doesn't go everywhere. And then again, I just do a little knocking just to make sure. Get all the grounds out there. That's good enough. And you can see we didn't make too much of a mess. It'll be easy to clean up. And now we're ready for that boiling water. So we're going to pour in just enough so that the coffee blooms. So it's just enough water to sort of like get it all wet. That should be pretty good. Maybe a little bit on this side. Okay. So now, if you can see in there, it's just enough to get all the coffee wet. And now we're going to wait just about 30 seconds or so. While we're doing that, I'm going to get the bowl that we're going to put those in. So right now it's in the dishwasher, but usually it'll be sitting up here with these other strainers. But it's this strainer bowl, but there's also another bowl that it sits in like this tan bowl. So we'll just put this here. I'll put the strainer bowl in there. Okay, and it's probably enough time. So now then we're just going to pour in a circular motion around and around and kind of get it stirring itself, sort of a little cyclone in there. And don't worry about spilling water, that's okay. There's plenty of water in here. And then when we get close to the top, we just do sort of a hard pour down the middle until we get to the top, and then we stop. And that rim right around there is the top. Okay. All right, and then with water still in this, I'm going to put it back on here because this is still hot. And I don't want it to cook just the, dry enamel. And now we need to put the lid on this, which is right here. It looks like this. So I'll turn it upside down and just very carefully place this to make sure that all the grounds go down into the pitchers. And then, there we go. Drops right on top. And there's a little arrow here that shows where the coffee is going to come out. And so when it's turned like this, the coffee comes out. When it's turned like this, this is blocked off. So I leave it closed so that it keeps all the heat in. And now we're going to let this sit for about 4 minutes at least to let it steep that coffee. So we'll put that there. This is yesterday's coffee, which we will throw out. We'll taste a little bit of it. Ooh, it's nasty. This looks like a paper cup, but it's ceramic, so we want to be careful. Get some soap going there. And you see I've got the water set to pretty warm, pretty hot. Ooh. Almost dropped it. And once I feel like it's clean, I'll turn the cold water on it, just because cold water seems to release all of the soap a lot better than the warm water. I'm sure there's some kind of science behind that, but just something I've noticed washing dishes over the years. And dry it off. And in fact, I might now do hot water just once again, just to warm the cup up. Coffee out of that in a minute. I'm looking forward to that first cup of coffee. It's one of my favorite things of the day. It's that first sip of coffee. Should be good enough. Paper towels, which I use a lot of, go in the trash, which is back here behind the television. And so a lot of times you'll see me just chuck stuff back there because I know where it is. And if I miss, I'll go get it later. Okay, so now we're going to see how warm we're getting here. And I can feel a little bit of heat, so maybe just another couple minutes. So now I'm going to get, these are Selecta-size paper towels. You can see the perforation there. Maybe you can see some darkness through there. So I just want two of the Selecta sheets. There you can maybe see the perforation. I don't know, a little better. And then we're going to fold it at the perforation. So we've got this rectangle, and this is what we're going to put our bacon on when it's cooked. So I have to put that just right there and hold it in place with the weight of the cutting board. And I like to let it overlap a little bit because a lot of times I'll use this to clean my my spatula, which I also washed. So that's still in the dishwasher. So here's the spatula. So we'll be using that for our bacon this morning. And this is getting there. So let's go ahead. Let's clean these berries. This jug right here is, and it says on here, fruit and veg wash. This is a mixture of water, filtered water, and distilled white vinegar. So it's 1 part distilled white vinegar, 3 parts filtered water. And so we're going to put in the berries that we're going to have today. Let's do maybe like about 1/3 of these or so, maybe half. It's not a very big package. Let's just do half. Maybe 1 more. There we go. We'll save those for tomorrow. These I try to eat as soon as I get them. Raspberries, because they go pretty quickly. Same thing with the blackberries. They will mold pretty quickly, more quickly than the blueberries or strawberries. So we're going to do some of these here. Again, about half. Maybe 1 more. There we go. That looks like a pretty good mix. And then this we'll save for tomorrow. So that'll be for tomorrow's breakfast. So we'll put it back in the fridge. All right. Before I do that, I'm going to go back here now. I feel like this is probably, yeah, this is good and warm. So I'm going to turn this down now to just below half and let it cool off a little bit. So I want to get it warm. I want to get the whole skillet sort of evenly warm, and then I want to bring the heat back down a little bit. Otherwise, when we get to cooking, it's going to cook too fast. So, all right, so I got this shook up. And I'm just going to pour it till it's just sort of near the top of what I've got in there. That's pretty good. And I don't want to leave this too long. Just a minute or two, but just enough to kind of like bugs or any gross stuff should kill it. Wash it out. All right, we'll just let that sit for just a minute. And I think we're ready to put the bacon on now. So let's get the swine press out. This will be warm to the touch at least. Maybe not hot, but it'll be pretty warm. So I use the pot holder to lift that out by the handle. And I only got 2 pieces of bacon left in here. I just usually set that there, it's fine. And so we'll go ahead and drop it in the skillet. And I use the spatula to cut it in half so that it fits in the skillet a little better. You see how it's kind of tucked in the edges. There we go. That way I can get it flat into the skillet. Some extra hanging on there. And then the swine press goes right back on top to keep it flat. And now we can throw this away. All right. Just another swirl here. All right, just about ready to rinse that out. But first, let's open this sausage because we're going to using it next. I'll go ahead and just ditch this. It's actually like leaking or something, so let's rinse this off. This looks like the stuff they package like in the store. So these are steak knives technically, but I use them a lot just for general kitchen stuff. Just keep them washed and then put them back. When it's not washed, I usually just set it there so it's out of the way so I don't stab myself with it. And there we go. Now we're ready for some sausage. And since I only have 2 pieces of bacon, I think I'll have 4 pieces of sausage today. Then I'll do that. That sounds good. And so we'll just check on that bacon. And might lift this up. And looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and flip it, actually. That's the thing. Once you get this thing preheated and have that swine press on there, it doesn't take long. Look at that. It's already well cooked on that side. Because the swine press is almost as hot as the skillet. So it's cooking it, sort of from the other side. So cooks bacon very quickly, which I really like, because I don't like taking a long time for bacon. And as much as I like the curly, like crispy bacon or whatever, that takes a long time to cook. This cooks really quick. I don't mind the flat bacon. It's okay. All right, this is ready now. Let's see, this is still kind of nasty, so I don't want to set it over there. Let's set it on top of this here, and then let's rinse these out. So we get some cold water going. And you'll see when I lift this out, now they're not in the liquid anymore. And I can just pour, look at all that schmutz that's in there. Some of that's just stuff that's natural to berries, but some of it might be gross, so let's get rid of that. And now I can rinse. I want to make sure and get all the vinegar out of the inside of those raspberries there. It'll be gross. So I'm just kind of slosh it around, drain it out, pour it out one more time. Leaf there, get that out. And now I'm going to put some cold water in it and just leave it, let it soak in the cold water for a little bit, and that'll get them nice and cold once again. Leave that sitting there. Bacon's probably done. Didn't take long for the bacon, did it? Oh, that looks good. So I'll take it out here and flip it over. Look at that. That's good looking bacon. That's good looking bacon. All right, and we'll flip that over. Okay. And then we're going to scrape this out. The key to keeping a non-stick skillet is just scraping it and getting the stuff that does stick, making sure that it's off of there. Doesn't matter so much for like meat, but like once we start doing the eggs, it'll cling to all of those little gooey meat rendered fat things. And so let's go ahead and drain it. So this right here is a grease catcher. It's getting a little full. So we'll go over at some point what to do with this when it starts getting this full. But that's so you can see the grease. So if you just take the lid off, it has this screen. And so we're going to use 2, because this will be pretty hot. So we're going to use 2 of these, 2 pot holders. And we're going to get it all the stuff down here in the liquid and in this, where this pour spout is, so that we can pour it all in there. And then just make sure it's good and scraped out there. And then I'll usually just sort of tap it there so I don't have any hot grease running down the side. Kind of help keep the stove clean. And then I still scrape it out some more. Make sure all the solid stuff is out there. And this is where, look at that. See how, now look how nice and clean that is. Because I've got this on this lip, just sort of the paper towel over the edge of the stove top there a little bit. Okay, now what do I do with this? Well, I take this out. It's still got some grease and stuff in it. So I'm just going to touch it to the paper towel like that, so that it pulls so it's not dripping across the floor as I carry it over here. And then I'm going to go and just bang it out on the garbage, and now that's out of there. And then I'm just going to rinse this out here with some hot water, and then I'll rinse all of that grease that you see remaining. As you can see, there's still ice outside, so the water's super cold until I get the hot water going. So there we go. I usually start with the back, that way if there's anything caught in the screen, it gets pushed out that way. And then we'll come around and do the front side so that we're cleaning both sides of the mesh. Just a quick little dab off here with a paper towel. There we go. And then this paper towel is still good. We'll use it for something. We'll clean the sink with it or something. All right, we'll put that there. Now we've got grease that we're going to use for our eggs in a minute. But first, we're going to do the sausage. So let's get our sausage over here. Let's go ahead and do 4 pieces of sausage. Ooh, it's nice and soft. Let's go 1 and 2. Cut this one. Don't worry about that in a minute. There we go. 3 and 4. All right, so that's all I'm going to use of that. I'll put that up in just a moment. But I want to get the swine press back on here because I want to smash these down a little bit. And you can hear them squealing like a pig when you squash them down like that. So just make sure that's kind of over the heat. So I'll get them cooked. All right, while that's cooking, now I will do something about this. So this is going to go back into the fridge, but I need to kind of seal it up a little bit. So in this drawer here, so let me close this for just a second so you can see where we are. So this is the second drawer over from the left is where I have the press and seal. And there's a little slot for it just right there. So I open the press and seal. This is the sharp edge. And pull out just enough to kind of cover that front and back. Close the box, and then I don't move the sheet. I don't try to tear the sheet. I hold the sheet like here, and then I use the box like a knife. Nice clean cut by doing it that way. And just place that over there and around. And then I'll let it kind of flag out this way. That way it can wrap back around to the front. So that's not perfect, but that'll kind of hold it. It'll be good enough until tomorrow morning when we probably eat the rest of it. All right, and so then back in the fridge. Since it's kind of nasty, I might wrap it in something else, but I've got another sausage down here, so I'm just going to put it right on top of that, and that'll be okay. And we'll just clean the fridge from time to time, and that'll be fine. Okay, berries are okay to sit in the water until we're ready for them. This we can clean now and get that sausage off of there. That needs to be like soap clean. Close the drawer. And this is where we go. Whoop. Okay, and probably made that, but we'll find out when we go to take the garbage up. All right, and let's check in on our sausage here. It's getting clean. Let's go ahead and flip it and see what it looks like on the other side. That's all right. Probably could have left it a little longer. But you can always flip it more than once also. And keep it evenly cooked. Sausage grease is much gooier, stickier than bacon grease, so this is going to require, smash it down again. This is going to require some more scraping when we're done here. Time for the eggs. Let's make room for our sausage there. And all right, now we need something to put our berries in. So I think that this, actually, I've got dishes here we can get out. So let's start with these. I've got let's get the saucepan out. And I've got a full-size bowl and 2 grapefruit bowls. Let's use, you know what, let's just use the full-size bowl, and we'll put some yogurt in there with it. And so I'm putting this up here. So full-size bowls, grapefruit bowls, berry bowls, full-size grapefruit, berry. These are also full-size bowls. These are like super cereal bowls. This is the Salem North Star pattern, and this is that Franciscan Starburst. And these are unfortunately very rare. I would love to have more cereal bowls in both of these patterns, but they break so easily. That's why they're so rare. So these are my Salem North Star plates. These are Salem North Star bread plates. These are Salem North Star like side plates. These are Franciscan Starburst saucers for the coffee cups, of which you can see I have several. This is Salem North Star saucers for the Salem North Star coffee cups. And then these are Franciscan Starburst like side plates, cheese plates, bread plates, that sort of thing. And then these, of course, are the main plates. And then up here I have some really rare items like a little creamer pourer, gravy boat with the ladle, sugar bowl, salt and pepper shakers, some salt and pepper shakers for the Salem North Star series also. Let's flip that sausage one more time. Yeah, well, it smells good. Okay, while I've got the swine press off, I'm looking at my paper towel here, and it's looking pretty nasty. It's been up here for a couple of days now, so let's roll this away. And it will be, hot, warm, from that hot grease on there, so just be aware of that. And we'll just kind of wipe down, kind of clean that off. We're going to have to get a dry one. This one I'm actually going to take over by hand because I don't want to miss that one. Let's just get this one. Lots of grease soaked into this wood here. Yeah. And so now the way to replace it then is you get 4 of the selecta size. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. And fold it into thirds. So you take 1 1/3 sheets and fold it. And then take the bottom up to meet the top there. And there it is, fold it in thirds. And then I don't worry about creasing the bottom yet. I'll just set that there, and now I'll crease that, and now it's perfect. Look at that. And so now I can take this off and set it there. That's nice and clean. Ready for use tomorrow. I think I'm done with it for today. These are probably looking, oh yeah. Maybe just another few seconds on this side. I like my sausage well done. And while we're doing that, we will go ahead and drain these. And the great thing about this bowl is now that the water's out, when you put this back in there, there's enough of a gap down there that these will continue to drain, but it won't drain all over your breakfast table. So I can just wipe this clean once, and now it's not going to drain onto the table. It's just going to drain into the bowl. So it's still going to continue to drip and drain, but just not all over my table. And go ahead and push this down, nice and slow. This is the plunger and the French press and the coffee. Great. And then we line up the arrow. And, oh, there's that first cup. Look how hot, steaming hot that is. That's good. Okay, just kind of wipe it off. I do it like a waiter pouring a wine bottle, where you wipe it off. And it's going to be nice and hot. Let's warm that cup up and let it sit, cool off for just a second. And I think our sausage is good and done. So let's get those out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Excellent breakfast this morning. Right. Now, we got this goo that we got to scrape out of here. So let's get our screen back on there. Swing this around so I can grab this handle. So I'm having to use quite a bit of force to do this because grease and fat is pretty gooey. probably doing the same thing in my arteries. But I'm a breakfast guy. I love breakfast. All right, now we're gonna pour this. Pretty noisy, but have a good scrape out for the eggs, because the eggs are going to be next. And then scrape it out there. There we go. And you can see I also scrape it out here, so you see already how this gets so dirty. All this grease and everything, plus it's probably soaking it up from the cutting board. All right, and yeah, it's actually like touching the grease now, so we're going to have to do something about that. There's too much in there. But we're about to pour some of it out to use on these eggs. So let me just take care of this again. So we take the screen over, we turn it over and bang it on the side. It all goes into the trash. Now we take it over to the sink. The hot water. Okay. Good enough. Swap it off. We're going to come back. This time we're just going to set it inside the lid like that, because we're about to use the grease here. So let's get the skillet back in position where we want it. And then we're going to take our grease pitcher here, and we're just going to pour just a little bit. About a small pancakes size little puddle there. Might even be a little too much. And just kind of get it stirred around so it can kind of get warmed back up, get nice and hot. You see it's already smoking a little bit. We don't want to let it smoke for too long. So we're going to get these eggs. And I've got this one here that I need to use up before I start using those that I just got yesterday. These are the eggs that I get, natural, cage-free, grain-fed, large brown eggs, grade A. I don't know if they're any different from regular eggs, but this is just what I always get, mainly because I can get them 18 at a time, because I'm going to have 4 eggs. So I'm going to set 2 of them next to my sausage there, and I'll get these 2, and we'll go ahead and start cracking them. I'm going to go back once again. My stove is not quite level, so all the grease will pool into this side. So right before I crack them, I just kind of get it a little more evenly dispersed and kind of get it up towards this side. And then there we go, look at that. Okay, put this away now. Got plenty of eggs. While I'm in here, I'm going to get the kefir. This is what I'm going to put on my berries. I said yogurt before, didn't I? But let's use the kefir. I like the kefir. We have nothing to kefir but kefir itself. And now that these have solidified just a little bit, I want to put some salt and pepper on them. These are the salt and pepper shakers. They are electric. Obviously, the one with the white in it, the one on the left is salt. You just push the button. Just a little bit of salt there. And the one on the right is the pepper. You see the pepper in there. And same thing. And once I feel like the base is pretty solid, I'll go ahead and flip them. And you got to get the spatula all the way up under there. Make sure the whole thing is loose, and then quick wrist flip. I like them kind of golden like that. They look a little overdone, but they're perfect, I promise. Oh yeah, this This is going to be such a good breakfast. I think we will also have some spinach. And I like the spinach raw, but apparently it's better if you saute it a little bit in some butter. Let the heat and the fat, this supposedly makes it really good. And I'll probably just use all of that. Spinach cooks down real quick. I don't leave it on this side for very long. I don't want to overcook the yolk. I like it over medium, which is white, fully cooked, yellow, still runny, thick and gooey. There we go. Those are good. All right. And do we have enough grease left for the next two? I think so. I poured a little too much in the first time, so I think we got enough for these two guys. Oh. I'm not the best egg cracker in the world, and I broke that yolk. Take these to the garbage now. I also need to walk these over. There we go. You can already see these are cooking differently than those other ones because there wasn't as much grease. Salt. A little pepper. Cook for just a minute longer. Let's go ahead and move our meat to the plate. Bacon. Ooh, those are still good and warm. Hot, actually. Very nice. Okay, that might be enough now. Nice. Look how good that one looks. I'm going to turn that off. And we're done with this for today, so we'll just close that. We will talk about how to clean that out later. And so the only thing left now is going to be the spinach. I'm gonna have this first sip of coffee now. Cheers. Oh man, that's good. All right, these are probably done. Done enough. Beautiful. All right, got lots of salt and pepper in the skillet, which is okay. I'm gonna get the big chunks out. I don't really want that in my spinach. I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing, but just some schmutz in there getting out. Now I've already turned the skillet off, so I'm just sort of using the latent heat. And a knife here. I'm just going to use about half a tablespoon of butter, so just a thin pat. And just put it right in there. And get a good area going, and then leave it in the center and let it melt. There we go. So before it browns or smokes, let's get this spinach in there. We'll just use the rest of this, I guess. You know, like what a victory it is to use a whole thing of spinach. None of it wilted. None of it went bad. This is like the second time in my life I think I've actually done that. Trying to eat healthy. Being somewhat accomplished at doing that. Let's take this fully off so that we can use that to catch trash. And you don't let that spinach sit really long at all. You want to be pretty much immediately moving it about. And you see it's already getting dark. You don't really want to cook it. You just want to kind of get it all dark and wet in the butter. Just kind of activate whatever supposedly activates from the heat. I forget, magnesium or something. So mostly butter, a little bit of bacon grease. That's okay. Smells good. Smells real good. Sometimes I will cut up a tomato on the vine, but I think maybe not this morning. That's probably pretty good. I'll take it and I'll just put it right over there. That's got it. All right, now then, while that needs a second to cool off anyway, so now I'm going to take this sheet and just kind of fold it over so that none of the crumbs fall out of it. And now I can use this to kind of wipe out the skillet a little bit. I don't really wash the skillet much. It's perfectly okay to wash cast iron. You don't want to like scrub it. But a little bit of dish soap and some warm water sometimes is good. You don't want to do it while it's super hot like this. I've broken cast iron before, actually. Doing not with water, but it is breakable. Is my point. All right. So, and it's more breakable when it's hot, I believe. So I just clean all that out and dump it all back in. A piece of salt right there. Oh, now it is on me. Flaming hot piece of salt. All right, that's pretty good. So that's pretty clean. So the thing is now, look at this. This is ready for tomorrow. I don't have to like do dishes and stuff. This is done. This will just stay there. Breakfast is ready. The only thing I need to do is put the berries in, and we're good to go. So one last shake out on the berries there. You can see all the water there that's been draining out while we've been sitting here. And there's that. We got a couple other little raspberry pieces there. Okay. Nice. A little bit of soap. Let's go ahead and wash this while we're washing things real quick. Over there to dry. Just leave that to soak. And look, there's no dishes to do. There's no, I mean, that I'll rinse out at some point with cold water, and it'll be ready to use again probably at lunch. I'll have more berries at lunch. But there's no pans, there's no bowls, there's no nothing. It's like I'm ready to eat, and a cleanup is already done. So this is the beautiful way we make breakfast in the Skidmore house. And this is how we throw our garbage away. Oh, we missed. That's why I have this grabber here, so that I can get it back. That I could bend down and pick up, but stuff that's like behind the TV, like I don't always, not able to reach. So my little robot arm there. And so I'll just shake with this kefir again. Probably better cold straight out of the fridge, but that's okay. Just kind of cover everything there. And back in the fridge it goes. Okay. And just a little bit of raw honey. Not too much because these berries are pretty sweet as it is. And you know what? Let's put some walnuts in there. Sometimes I have walnuts. Sometimes I have pecans. Walnuts are a little softer. That's pretty good. All right. So if you were ever to fix me breakfast, something like this is what I'd like. 2 to 4 eggs, 2 to 4 slices of bacon. If less bacon, then let's put some sausage in to kind of make up for it. I like lots of protein in the morning. I like to front load my day. Spinach is good. Like I said, you might slice up a tomato. I've got other fruit to choose from. I've got, I didn't get any grapefruits this time. Normally I have grapefruit. I've got mandarin oranges. I've got apples. Got some avocado. All that's good for breakfast. Oh, water. I need water. It's the only thing I don't have. So this is my water cup from yesterday. So let's retire that one. That one needs to be washed. Let's use the Bobby cup. This is my Bobby cup. I love my Bobby cup. And we need to get some lemon and lime in it. So that's this bowl here. And you can see that limes are sliced in quarters and lemons are sliced in eighths. So when I do a grocery order, I get 2 limes and 1 lemon. So that way I have 8 pieces of each by the time that I'm done. So I like lemon a little more than I like lime. So put 1/4 of lime, 1/8 of lemon into the juicer like that with the curved side up. It's a little counterintuitive, but that's how you're supposed to do it. And then just gonna make sure it doesn't get out of sorts there when you put the weight on it, and then just squeeze it on in. Okay. And then just to make sure I got all my lime juice, because looks like there's a lot of juice in there, I'm going to put it on top. And I'm not going to squeeze it like all the way, because what I don't want to do is squeeze bitters out of the peels, because then the water gets kind of bitter. But I do want, all that juice right there. All right, and I'll just put that in the sink for now. And just rinse this out. And put it away. Most of the stuff, if I just rinse right away and put it away, then there's nothing to clean up after breakfast, which is very nice. Trying to make sure that is kind of sealed in there a little bit. And it goes right on the top shelf there. Okay. And so now I got my juice down on the bottom of that. Now I'll pour my water in. Okay. Water everywhere. It's my lid. There you go. There's my water. Okay. Get that vitamin D activated. Let's turn on the sun. Oh yeah, nice bright lights. Simulates sunlight. I'm not sure if it's, I don't know if it really does anything. Makes me feel like it's doing something. I'm gonna wipe this down a little bit and shoot! That one went in. And get another one here. Even though I have a napkin on the table, I like to have sort of a messy one just to kind of like have around. All right, so. Oh, the last thing now is my vitamins. So I have these sets here. This is Energy Burst, and this says Health. And my health ones are actually missing my apple cider vinegar because I just bought those. But anyway, I get this little mug that I got from my friend Emma that says, "You make the world a better place." It's a little tiny coffee mug. And I'll just pick what day it is. Well, today's Friday, but obviously I have not been using this week, so I'll just take Tuesdays. So I'll dump the whole thing in there. And we'll dump the whole thing in there. And we'll go over at some other point what all goes in here. Like I said, these were missing, so I'll put just one of those in there this morning. And put those back out of the way. And all right, there's my breakfast. 4 eggs, 2 bacon, 4 sausage, spinach lightly sauteed in butter, blackberries, raspberries, kefir, a little bit of raw honey, and some walnuts, freshly brewed coffee, water with lemon and lime juice, and my supplements for the day. And some sunlight. And now we'll say a little prayer of gratitude and chow down. What do you think I should train it on next? I'm thinking laundry.